Well, good Thursday morning on the day that I return back to the UK. And I have to say, when I was sort of thinking about this trip and where to go, my main reason for coming to Tenerife was because of the two World Heritage Sites here and the third one just on that small island, La Gomera, over there, making three World Heritage Sites. What I wasn't thinking of was the kind of nostalgia, if you like, of having been here before, and that didn't really sort of occur to me until just a few days ago actually, and in particular the way in which I left. Today, of course, it's easy, just take a bus to the airport and take a plane back. Okay, no problems. But the last time I left here, it was anything but easy. To say the least. Very different circumstances, very different. And on that day, back, I think it was I can't remember what day of the week it was actually, it was in November anyway, and I believe it was from somewhere down in front of me, but I honestly don't know. If anything, it may have been somewhere over to the right, but I'm not sure. But on that afternoon, I remember pushing off from the dock, and not particularly thinking to myself what I was letting myself in for. Because, you just think to yourself, well, in theory, as long as there's air within a sailboat, then it's going to float. And that is the primary objective. And you just want it to float, and you just kind of want it to get to where you want to go. In our case, of course, it was over on the other side of this great expanse of an ocean, just in front down there, the Atlantic. And depending where one goes to on the other side, anywhere in the Americas, of course. In our case, it was Antigua, about in the middle of the Caribbean, which is, I don't know the distance, somewhere around about 3,000 miles. And of course, one doesn't know how long it's going to take. We had provisioned for 42 days, and from the literally the moment I actually pushed off from the dock to when we literally stepped foot on land again in Antigua, it was 27 days and 22 hours. And again, in theory, nothing should happen and no big deal. Well, of course, something did happen, and there you go. You see that scar just below my knuckles on my right hand. That happened about 5 days out of here, so that would have been about 600 miles out in that direction. And when I think of just this little bit of the Atlantic Ocean now, when you think of the whole thing, the whole Atlantic Ocean, you think how much of a little tiny speck, to say the least, a 12-meter catamaran is. But there you go, there you go. And of course, the other thing that is occurring to me, particularly in the last few days for some reason, is that this is the last place I was. I almost possibly right in front of me, but this certainly, Tenerife, somewhere on Tenerife, was the last piece of land I was on when my right hand was as a right hand should be, and without that sort of scar. Anyway, so there you go, and I wonder, and I truly don't know actually, where the next video is coming from. Bye.